In fact, let's go to Jerusalem. Let's bring in Iris Makler, our correspondent there. Iris, great to talk to you this evening. First of all, I talked about what's known or what little is known so far about this apparent drone strike on a property belonging to Benjamin Netanyahu. Just bring us in on any more details that's known about that.
First of all, I have to say that there were more than 180 rockets fired into Israel from Lebanon today. There were 3 drones as well. 2 of those drones were intercepted. One was chased, but not caught. And it landed in the town of Caesarea, near the home of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, one of his homes, it has to be said, his summer home, if you like. He wasn't home, his wife wasn't home, but he was very quick. His office, first of all, said he was the target. And then we heard from Benjamin Netanyahu himself. It's significant because it's a Saturday. He doesn't usually speak to the public on a Saturday. And from years of watching him, I can tell you, he generally speaks when there's good news and leaves other people to deliver bad news. So the fact that he wanted to tell the public about this is, I think, a sign that he regards this as good news. He could appear very strong, say he was undaunted. It didn't matter what was thrown at him personally, the fight would go on and so forth. But I think that is a spin. I think it was useful for him, as it is for many political leaders, it must be said, to have avoided something at very little cost and then to make a song and dance of that. The reality is that hundreds of thousands of Israelis today were sheltering in bomb shelters and other areas. One man who was on the road didn't make it, so he was killed. 10 others were wounded. There was a lot of incoming today, and there was a lot of Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon as well.
Yeah, very interesting point. It kind of brings to mind, doesn't it, Donald Trump, the assassination attempt and the fight on a lesser level with being seen, the optics, the importance of that today. Tell us about what's been happening on the other side of the border in Lebanon. Reports of Beirut being struck. Brings up to date with what the IDF is saying about that.
Yes, we heard from the IDF about 4 hours ago now. So in the early afternoon, there were announcements to citizens of certain areas of the Dahia of South Beirut, the Hezbollah controlled area of South Beirut, telling them to leave, telling them that their building was going to be struck because it is near or above infrastructure of Hezbollah. What we have heard from the IDF, generally speaking, is that those buildings are where mid and long range missiles are stored. So beneath their area of Beirut. It is interesting because I'm not sure they can be fired from there, but they are stored there, and that's what the IDF says it's targeting. I spoke to a friend in Beirut who said that the airstrikes were massive. They are those bunker buster bombs that go beneath the ground to get to what Israel says are storage places beneath those buildings. And we've also seen, by the way, Gavin, it's worth saying, we've seen Israel expanding its ground offensive. It's still not a large ground offensive, but it is worth saying that 3 weeks after Israel has been spreading its troops just along the border, finding, as we've heard from the IDF, all those Hezbollah containers, equipment, tunnels, much better organised and built tunnels than the ones in Gaza, they are expanding further out.
It's a very good point, because we're kind of in a triage of news information right now, aren't we, with what's going on in Lebanon, with Gaza. You look at what's going on with Yemen as well, and also this response awaited from Israel in Iran. Iris, talk to you soon. Great to have you on the programme. Iris Makler, our correspondent.